Good afternoon, everybody. It's John for Father's Rights and at my anti-trafficking YouTube channel. It's 5:10 p.m., May 8, 2024. I want everybody to know what's going on in New York City. This place is a black hole for children. So far, the false charges my wife filed on me in order to abscond my daughter from her home with no repercussions to her child neglect. Well, she schemed that one up, and all the charges are being dismissed the next Monday. And the DA I spoke to, who was actually the prosecuting DA who was supposed to prosecute me, said, under the circumstances, we're not going to charge you with anything, Mr. Russo. We're dismissing all the charges. I already know this. The problem is, what I'm having is that CPS should have gave me my formal interview, and like they're supposed to. It's CPS procedures. But in New York City, you see, we don't follow procedures. Federal laws, no, we don't have nothing to do with that. You know, New York City is its own fiefdom, its own country. I actually think a lot of these people that lead us in New York City, they're violating your federal rights. They need to be thrown in fucking prison. Why do I say that? Because now my daughter's in a worse state than she was before. If my daughter would have been left in my custody, she wouldn't have missed 52 days of school originally. The year prior, she wouldn't have missed 36 days of school. And yet, my wife is running around telling CPS that I have a domestic violence charge, and CPS found out. I told them, no, I don't. I don't have nothing of the sort. And if they would have came over and gave me my formal interview as per CPS nationwide procedures, they would have found out my wife lied several times and was caught in court, lied to get orders of protection against me. I could have just easily showed you the court documents, like I showed the DA. And speaking of the DA, all my charges are getting dismissed due to circumstances of my condition and my daughter's condition. You know what those conditions are, CPS? Let me explain to you, CPS, since you see there's no need, just you got to do it your way. Just blame the guy and close the case file and get your reward or bonus or whatever it is. My wife is actually going to be charged, okay, with child abuse. You know why she's going to get charged with child abuse and her emotional support Fanny? She's going to do probably 20 years. Do you know why? You would have known why if you would have came here and followed your procedures, Mrs. Rosenberg, who works in the Archer Avenue branch over there of CPS, or ACS as they call it now. Anybody, man, that's out there that had a case with ACS, you have every right to sue these people. Every right. They're not doing their job properly. They're violating your civil rights. And when one of them, the main office called ACS, the last agent that was investigating my daughter's plight, she picked a fight with me on the phone and said, "You're too violent. Oh my God!" You know, let's just man violent. Close the case. Man violent. Case solved. No, it's not. My daughter is at great risk of being sexually exploited. It's so bad that the DA is opening up a case. All these things I say about child trafficking, I have the evidence. I gave it to them. They're opening up the case. It's beyond local. It's federal now. The man moved the girl across state lines so he can have sex with her. That's federal. That's 30 years to life. And my wife and her cousin, who is in charge of the child, are responsible for that happening to the child. My wife's going to get child abuse charges on her, and she might go to jail between 1 and 3 years and get a $25,000 fine. And yet you still leave my kid in her custody. Still, I'm telling you this, and I'm sending you this today, And you still probably will not come and give me my informal interview so I could show you all this stuff. The police have looked at it. The Special Victims Unit up at the DA's office, Jessica Mellon, her detective, came out and looked at it and said, I got a case. They're taking the case. The DA is taking the case. What is wrong with CPS? If you would have came and done your job properly, you would have found this all out. Instead, you got my wife manipulating you, trying to extort me by telling me if I don't pay a third party $3,000 a USD, I won't see my daughter for the day. She wants to charge me $3,000 to see my daughter. That's what she was doing. That's called extortion. What are you doing? Stop it with the gender profiling. I'm going to sue yous. My daughter's at great risk. They're already abusing her every day by telling her it's wrong for her to love her father. It's wrong for her to want to see me. Up until October, she wanted to go to the zoo with me. And when they realized that, they started working on her. My daughter's being abused as we speak. She's in a bad mental state. They're painting pictures of me to her that's really disturbing her mental stability. My wife is guilty because she, as an adult, knew a child was raped as an adult. And if you have knowledge of a crime that was done against a child and you don't report it to the authorities, that's a crime. And it's one of the worst crimes you can do to a child, is stand there and let the rapist have a free hand on the child, and then you wonder why I'm calling you every day and I'm showing you these pictures of her family's activities and you call it inappropriate. You know what's inappropriate? When you don't follow your own procedures. And on that, I'm out of here.